In this video, you will learn everything you need to know about Claude Code as a non-technical founder. If you're looking to land a great high-paying 9-to-5 job within the AI space, this is not the video for you. This is the video for business owners who are looking to integrate Claude Code into their own business or build a completely new startup focusing on AI automations and workflows. This video is different because I have never used, tried, installed, or in-depth explored Claude Code. So we will be doing this together right on this video, trying to understand if there is any value in this technology or it's just another gimmick. Now, I do want you to know a few things about me because I'm pretty sure there will be people who are watching this video who never heard about me and never saw any of my videos before. My name is Eugene, I'm 27 years old, I was born in Belarus, being an online entrepreneur for over 8 years. Before that, I was playing hockey. This is the only thing that I knew. I started with the e-com. I was selling products in Amazon, launching FBA brands, not the dropship. I sold 2 e-com brands. We were doing more than 7 figs in yearly revenue. Then I transitioned into the marketing agency space. Obviously, meanwhile, I was growing the brands. I used to have one agency where we've been doing the review generation for other brands. I launched 5 agencies again, from the lead gen on Amazon to cold email marketing for B2B businesses. Currently, I have 2 companies. The first one is the done-for-you webinars for businesses selling high-ticket products. These are agencies or info businesses. And the second one is the sales systems with multiple AI reps. They're selling to mid-sized local business running ads. And this entire YouTube channel was actually built around the idea that I was pitching in my first business, which was, focusing first on AI automations and AI agents in general. Then we transitioned into the sales automations and the AI reps and setters specifically. I have 10 people in my team working full-time, not freelancers, not contractors. We're doing about $80 to $120,000 in monthly revenue. This is not a recurring revenue because most of our deals are coming, and the money are coming from the one-time payments. We do charge our clients in the monthly retainers, but we usually work on either a large performance deals or we're charging them a high ticket upfront prices and then the lower ticket monthly management. I have a very strong understanding of the no-code tools. Would consider myself one of the best in the conversational logic flows and in the chatbots and the AI apps specifically, because this is my bread and butter. This is, again, how this YouTube channel was built, and this is what I was focusing on for the past 2 years. Plus, I have a very good tool awareness of what is going on in the space. At least I used to. And this is kind of where we're coming into this video. Yes, you see the Claude Code all over the place. If you type it on the YouTube, you will see that people are going nuts. Again, I've been having my YouTube channel for over 2 years now, and I saw a lot of tools come and go here and there, and I was recording a lot of videos roasting them. It was from the replacement of a VoiceFlow, which is a chatbot builder that we've been using and we've been starting with. It was around, Claude Sonnet getting released. Then it was the ChatGPT agent building platform that everyone already forgot. Then it was the Gemini. So these things come and go in waves. Now, most of them stay. So I'm not saying that the technology behind it doesn't exist. What I am saying is that it is usually overhyped for us as business owners. If you are looking to land a job, if you're looking to build automations and workflows full time, again, this is I'm not the good channel for this. I'm not a good resource for this. There are such a great guys, such a technical guys that know everything, all the nuances, and can explain it much better than I would. My goal is to help you to navigate through this entire mess as a business owner, because I am the business owner myself. And again, I was in the trenches for all these years recording videos about the AI and the agents and the platforms. But in the recent month, I started to restructure my business in a way where I am primarily handling marketing and business development, and we have people in the team. I have a CTO, I have the developers who are focusing on development. Now, keeping it very, very honest, I'm still very involved in all of the workflows, automations, and features that we're adding to all of our tools, because again, this is just what I like, but I don't like executing it myself. Plus, obviously, I have a team who is doing it better. This is why I completely missed Claude Code. I swear to God that I never, maybe I watched like 5 videos from, Nate and Nick Sarayev about the Claude Code. That's it, okay? My developers are using it for their own things. We don't have it yet used in the production for any of our solutions because our current toolkit is made of Go High Level, NADN, Retail, and Twilio. If you're using the voice, we're also using the SMS, AI apps. So we're using the Twilio phone numbers. If we're using the iMessage, we're using a third-party provider that is connected to the high level. Voice flow, again, this is not the major focus right now. We get the project requests here and there for building the chatbots, which are usually the product or property recommendations. We're using Zoom for all of our meetings and the ClickUp as the project management software. This is where all the communication and the project management is happening within our team. Now, we do also have our own custom interface for the one-prompt product, which is built on Lovable, as well as the Supabase. So obviously, this is the main stack that I would probably compare the Claude Code to, because technically speaking, people are saying that you can replace all of these things within the Claude Code, and you probably can. The only thing that we need to figure out is, should you do that? Can you? Maybe. Maybe you can, maybe you cannot. I am not the best person to tell you what you can and cannot do with the Claude Code. But I've never researched in depth. I want to do it here, live, on this video, because I decided that, again, I had some free time, so I wanted to explore the Claude Code. And now I thought, why not do it together with you guys? So even if this video is going to get 50 views, I hope it is going to be helpful for some of you. So again, our goal right now is to understand if we want to use the Claude Code, if we want to replace our current tech stack. I'll be referencing some other things that most of our partners and people that I know use. If there is going to be a cool use case for that, and then you can do your own research and decide what are going to be the next steps. Now, first of all, I would want to start with the very, very basic thing. I know Claude. Claude is the LLM model where you can ask questions and get the replies. That's obvious. This is how everything started. Now, Claude by itself, as the interface, can perform different things. Okay? So if I say, can you please create me an example report right now? So it can create. For some reason it was disconnected. What a day to be alive. What a time to record this YouTube video. The Claude is actually down. I have just checked the status. It's probably gonna be up within a few minutes, but it's very interesting that I am starting to review this entire technology and it's getting down. Again, guys, please. Okay, it was down for a few seconds. I guess now it's fine. Anyways, so can you please create me a example report to see how it can look? So it not just, okay, I still cannot do that. I guess, fine. We can move on. So not only it can give you the responses, but it can also perform certain things, okay? It can perform certain things on your behalf, but locally within the interface. So meaning you're having your interface, which is, let's say, Claude. You have the chats. So here you can ask different questions and get the outputs in the chat, okay? So it can generate you the report. Now, there are all these features like Claude Skills, Claude whatever else. These are just, from my understanding, these are just the add-ons to this Claude interface. So for example, the skill is a suite of instructions that you can connect to a thread to get a better output. Now, of course, there are more nuances to that. A lot of you will hate on me for not using the right terminology or not explaining it in the right way, but I want to keep it very simple, and I want to help myself and you guys to figure out this whole thing. As a quick disclaimer, we're using the Sonnet very actively for our AI reps that are built on the N8N. Primarily, we're using Gemini 3 Pro right now. We do use Opus for all of our business-related tasks because it's very good. For most of the regular day-to-days, we're using the 5.2 from ChatGPT. So I know the performance of the models, but it's not just the models. It's the infrastructure that allows you to interact with these models and allows these models to give you not just text, but also other things like websites, videos, photos, reports in a format that you would want to use. So it's not just text. Again, like, this is at least how I think about this whole thing. Now, so this is Claude, okay? So this is Claude. Okay, it's not, can I reload it? Yeah, so it's not loading. So this is Claude. So what the heck is Claude Code? Let's review. Claude Code for beginners. I'm not gonna go over, obviously, all the videos. I would want to go over some very fast and understand what this is from the basic perspective. Now, from what I already know, it is the interface that you deploy locally on some sort of a machine, okay? So there is, how do you call it, like Vue.js or whatever is, right? So you're like, for a JavaScript framework, probably not. So like you have these programs, right, where you can deploy, where you can code, apps, okay, and where you can host things. You're probably hosting it on your computer, and then you're connecting the Claude Code to this thing, and it allows you to perform different actions. Now, I hate myself for saying that, but okay, so let's review some videos. I hope we're gonna quickly skip that because I don't have YouTube Premium for that.
You could build something like this. A fully working web app without writing a single line of code yourself. No coding bootcamp, no YouTube tutorial rabbit hole, just you talking to an AI in plain English and watching it build the whole thing for you.
This is the whole point. So he's saying that we can build this entire thing using the Claude Code. Now, we can use this, we can build this app using Lovable, we can build this app using Bolt, and again, we do have our own custom interface, which is built on Lovable. So I'm pretty okay with understanding that you can build the things with AI without needing to code it manually. Like this entire app, this is our internal app, right, was built on Lovable, Supabase, and N8N. So understand that. And there was a reason for us to build this app because it is a custom app for internal workflows. So we need to find a use case for the Claude Code, not just saying that, hey, it can rebuild some my bookmarks. Like you have a bookmarks on your Chrome, so you wouldn't do that. But this is not the point of me watching this specific teacher's tech video, because we need to first understand what the heck is the Claude Code.
What if I told you I'm Jamie, and today we're diving into one of the most exciting tools I've seen in a long time. It's called Claude Code, and it's going to change the way you think about building things with technology. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. I'm not a coder. This isn't for me. But that's exactly why I'm making this video. Claude Code is generally accessible to beginners, and by the end of this video, you're going to have built a real working app, so stick with me. So let's start with the basics. You might already know Claude is the AI chatbot from a company called Anthropic.
Yes.
You can go to claude.ai and chat with it, ask it questions, have it write things for you. That's what most people know.
Yes.
Claude Code is different. Think of regular Claude as someone you can talk to about building a house. They can describe how to frame a wall, what materials to use, draw you a blueprint. That's great. But Claude Code is the person who actually picks up the hammer, measures the wood, and builds the wall for you. Claude Code runs in something called a terminal. That's just a text-based window on your computer.
Yeah, terminal. Sorry, guys, as you can see, like, there are guys who can explain it much better than me. So if you would want to dive deep into this, please don't watch my videos, okay? So my videos are designed for the business owners who have no idea what this is. So, okay, there is a terminal and you're running it on the terminal. Okay.
Computer where you can type commands. And from there, Claude Code can actually read your files, create new files, run programs, install things, and build entire projects. All you do is describe what you want in plain English. Now, Claude Code launched in early 2025, and it has absolutely taken off. Developers around the world are using it, but here's what I want you to understand. You don't need to be a developer to use this tool. If you can describe what you want clearly, Claude Code can...
Yeah, so this is also the point. Obviously, it was launched in early 2025, right? I remember people were talking about it, Claude Code, and even when we were building our own software, we've been kind of considering for a few seconds to use the Claude Code, but we decided to go with Lovable just because it was outputting the better interfaces and the backend was not as complex. So we decided to go with Lovable. But so I'm trying to understand, like, why now? Like, what? Like, why? Like why this videos started to pop up in my feed right now? Like, basically a few weeks ago, a month ago.
Build it. Okay, let's talk about what you need to get started. There are really just two things: a computer and a Claude subscription. Claude Code works on the terminal, so make sure you stay tuned, and gives you Claude on your computer. And I'm going to walk you through this step by step. I'm going to start with Windows first, and then I'll show you on Mac as well. On Windows, just go down, and we're going to open up Terminal here. And I'm going to get you to right-click on Terminal and run this as administrator.
Okay, so
we're ready to set up, and our next step will be...
We're not going to set anything up, but he's doing the setup. I understand. So this is not what we're looking for. We need a better explanation. Okay, so let's hear Nick. Jesus Christ, 300,000 views in 2 weeks. My God. Okay.
I'm always looking for new tools and ways to...
Okay, I probably need to buy a subscription on this account because it's going to be crazy to watch.
Are built and structured in a high ROI way.
Okay.
Hey, this is the definitive course on Claude Code for beginners.
So Nick is talking very, very fast. So let's put it on the 1.5.
I use Claude Code every day to manage a business that does over $4 million a year in profit. I also teach over 2,000 people how to use Claude Code, both for personal and then corporate or professional tasks. So this is more or less what I do all day. Once you understand what I'm about to show you in this course, it's no small stretch to say that Claude Code will augment your productivity. You'll gain leverage in areas that you probably didn't even realize that you had, and that's both for software engineering and also other parts of your life. The focus here is not software per se, so you don't need to have a technical background to understand what I'm going to tell you. I'll make sure to start slow and build concepts on each other naturally and gradually so that everybody here is on the same page. So no fluff, here's what you guys are going to learn in this course. We're going to start with the basics by downloading practical in Brain at this point. After you click try Claude, it'll take in Brain at this point. Is just type the word Claude directly into your terminal. It's really that easy. Now, if it's the very first time that you're logging in, you'll also have to authenticate, and it'll ask you to do something fairly powerful. So this screen can look pretty intimidating.
So I'm trying to look for an explanation, like what is it? Like, what is the Claude Code? Okay, so
conversation thread that's allotted to us, which is really powerful. So this screen can look pretty intimidating for beginners. Most people end up using the terminal flow, not the GUI flow, but I'm going to explain to you what you guys see here just for simplicity.
Yes.
In the top left-hand corner, you have that cute little Claude Code widget. I think I don't know if it's supposed to be a crab or like a jellyfish, but it's adorable. Then you have Claude Code and the actual version up above. Underneath, you have the model that you're currently using. In my case, I'm using Opus 4.6. Then you have the plan that you're on. In my case, Claude Max. So this is a couple levels up from the Pro plan. And then, perhaps most importantly, you have the current working directory you want. So the very integrated development environment. Well, that takes us to the next logical question, which is, Nick, what is an integrated development environment? An integrated development environment, also termed IDE, is basically three things put together, okay? It's a file folder organizer plus a...
Okay, gosh, we don't need all these things. Again, like, I'm pretty sure the course is very neat, but I'm looking Claude Code for beginners. What is Claude Code? Let's retype this. Jesus Christ. What is Claude Code? Guys, please, someone can explain this to me? Introducing Claude Code. I mean, yeah, so like a year ago. Tutorial for beginners. 400,000 views.
I don't write code by hand anymore. I just ask Claude. And in this video, I partnered with Anthropic to break down 3 things that I wish I knew about vibe engineering before I started. Starting with number 1, how to create apps from scratch. Head to the link in the description below and let's install Claude.
Wait, let me clarify one more thing. Yes, I understand that the Claude Code can do that, but I am trying to understand what is the difference from Lovable or from Bolt New or whatever their name is, or from any other app, right? So like why? There's they need it, right? So like people need it. Like it's a great tool, and I thank God like that we have it. But I need to understand like what, Claude, please like explain why you. Okay, so why you?
Together. First up, for Mac users, from the homepage, use PM. Click the green button sources section. Now,
He's explaining how to install it. Jesus Christ. Okay, another ad.
Want to supercharge your productivity? Well, you can do it with a self-hosted N8N solution.
let's create a chore app to manage chores at the office. Here are the requirements. Show a calendar view like Outlook to see all our current chores, allow adding and removing chores, make chores recurring on a schedule, assigning chores to team members, and adding and removing team members. So what do you write inside this little box to get started? If you were vibe coding, you might put in something like this, egg, and it misses out on
Okay, yeah, so this is,
So
let's
you want to use
check.
Claude Code. You want to get the most of it, but you
This one.
don't know exactly how. This is a crash course, how to master Claude Code, and we explain it in the most simple way. There are thousands, literally thousands of other Claude Code tutorials on the internet, but there are none as simple as this. I brought on Professor Ross Mike. He comes on and he shares it in the simplest way so that anyone can create jaw-dropping startups and software using Claude Code. We're going to give you the exact steps for how you can set it up, thinking about the beginner, how to think about the terminal, how to think about prompting. But if you stick around to the end of this episode, there's a tips and tricks section.
I'm going to give you the blueprint, how to use it. I'm also going to share, consider this the ultimate crash course on how to use Claude Code or any agent effectively.
Okay, let's get into it.
So, I mean, the best way to start these episodes is with sharing our screen. So when we think of building applications using AI, using some sort of agent like Claude Code or Open Code or Codex, whatever it is, there's a couple of things that you always have to keep in mind. You know, the principles never really change. One thing that it's important for us to understand is however good your inputs are will dictate how good your output is, right? We're getting to a point where the models are so freakishly good that if you are producing quote unquote slop, it's because you've given it slop, right? There was a time where the models weren't good enough. There was a time where, you know, we had serious qualms and issues with the quality of code the models gave us. But now we're starting to get to a point where even myself, like I'm reviewing a lot more code than I write. And I never thought I'd be able to say that in the early months of 2026. So very important for us to understand our inputs, how good they are, how precise they are, how
Yes.
you have to sort of extract this product, right? Let's say, I don't know, Greg, any product ideas?
Me have product ideas?
Yeah, that's actually the best person to ask, right? Let's say I go on idealbrowser.com and
I was just going to it. Yeah, pick the idea of the day from Idea Browser. It says it's a diagnostic.
build this into full 4 features built out. We can safely assume that we have said product, right? The way we are to design our PRDs, to-do lists, and plans is such that we want the agent, the model, to build out all these features, right? Because all these features put together is our product. You see, a lot of times people will describe a product, not describe features, and will be frustrated with AI. Like AI is supposed to magically know what you're thinking about. By the way, Greg, am I making sense? So on. Before moving on to feature 2, what I'm
Okay, so what he's explaining is basically what the vibe coding is. So this is not the video to evaluate how valuable the vibe coding is. Like vibe coding is huge. Now, I was creating a video roasting the vibe coding by itself and saying that people are getting overly hyped about it as a business opportunity, but again, we have applications that built on the vibe code. We have people that we partner up with that sold applications that are built on the vibe code. So like this is a great industry. I mean, it helps engineers, it helps entrepreneurs, it helps freelancers. Okay, yeah, sure. What I'm trying to understand is Claude Code. Okay, specifically, why it? Okay, why it, and what's the point?
going to do is I'm going to get the model to write a test. If that test passes, then we'll work on the second feature. If that test passes, we'll click Shift Tab, right? And then you have plan mode on, and you can say, let's say, I'd be happy to help you plan this out, and it'll ask you some questions, etc., etc. But I found that there's a better way to get an even more concise plan. And right, how is it going to present that specific feature? Did you want it in a dashboard? I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to go to the chatbot of my choice, whether it's Claude, ChatGPT, whatever, and I'm going to ask it questions. So if you remember earlier, it asked me generic questions about the app. Now, most of you probably watching this, people see value in this.
Please tell me.
To plan, then I guarantee you whatever you generate is going to be AI slot. And you might blame the model, but really knowing how to drive, but then buying a Tesla for like the self-driving stuff. Like cool in theory, but maybe it's a great idea to know how to drive, how to steer, how to hit the corners, how to maybe
Ralph loops.
And you're comfortable with Claude Code. Now you hear about all these things: skills, MCP, prompts.
Yes, I'm crazy.
What else is there? Something.
What the fuck is that?
You hear all these conventions,
Yes,
plugins.
please.
You have Ralph. All these things. So what do I need to perfectly build something?
What they are, tell me.
I'll be honest with you. Most of these things are all the same. Prompt MD and Agent MD are just markdown files. Plugins are skills with a little bit extra. What you need to build successfully using these agents is, first of all, you need a good plan, right? Which are documents, which is the prd.md we just generated. And then you need to document the progress that's being made. For anyone who's familiar with Ralph, you know what I'm talking about. For those who aren't, what's cool about a Ralph loop is as follows. A Ralph loop is basically, you have a list of things that need to get
No, okay, God. I think that no one can really explain it in a way where I am looking it at. Okay, I just bought premium subscription because it was crazy, so now we should not have any ads. Now, so what do we understand right now? We are deploying some sort of an interface locally on our computer. Okay, terminal, like whatever. So we can chat with this terminal and get outputs. But what's the difference in using Lovable and the vibe coding that being here for over a year now? Claude Code versus Lovable. This Lovable, which one is better? Choosing their own one. Okay.
Everyone switching from N8N is asking me, should I learn Claude Code? Probably not. Let me explain it to you.
This is also very important, guys. Switching from N8N. I heard this multiple times, and I think this is what I'm missing. So I think this is what I need to get my head around. Yes, let me explain how our app on Lovable works, okay? So we have 3 tools. So we have Lovable, we have Supabase, and we have N8N. Now, on N8N, we are having the text engine. Now, of course, it also involves the Go high level because these are the text AI wraps. But I'm not going to go over this in specific details, but let me give you a simple example. So here we have a prompt, like one or multiple prompts, for our agents. So inside N8N, we're having multiple agents, okay? So these are like a multi-agent framework, okay? Like it analyzes which agent to route the conversation to, and it's like identifying, okay, that. Now, instead of managing the prompts inside N8N, you can see that here we have the variables. Because again, this solution is not for developers. This solution is for business owners who are looking to sell or use AI reps for their company or to other companies if they're looking to resell. So they buy our license, we give them this thing, but we don't want them to understand how it works. So we created our interface, okay? In the interface, let's say there's an agent 1 and there's agent 1 here. So this prompt comes from, from this prompt, okay? It's actually a combination of prompts, but whatever. So how does that work? This syncs with Supabase, okay? On Supabase, I am having a project, okay? In this project, I'm having a table, and this table has text prompts. So these are the prompts that come from my interface. So this is the prompt 1, and you can have the prompt here, and this is like, it's basically the same prompt, okay? This is basically the prompt. It's coming from here. So what is happening when I update my prompt here, it's getting updated on the Supabase, and then N8N is sending an API request to Supabase saying, hey, Supabase, can you please give me all the prompts? And see, like, get prompts. And it gets the prompts, and then it, puts this prompt here. So, look, again, this is not the technical video. The point is, this is how we use it. And I think this is how majority of people are using vibe coding applications. So you're having the interface, you're having your database, which is, let's say, Supabase or whatever SQL. SQL is a way you store data, I guess. So you can have different ways to store the data, and you can have like different options for the SQL databases. Please don't quote me on that. So we're using Supabase. But the automations and agents are built on N8N. Right? Do you understand? So there is Lovable. So Lovable, let's say, if we would build like a CRM, okay, or like an automation platform, is going to be harder to build like on Lovable, but maybe we would build software that tracks time, okay, and updates team members, something like that. I mean, again, the point is, why would you build it if you have existing softwares for $20 a month? But sure, but this is the next part of the video where we're going to be discussing the use cases. So, okay, but let's say we're having Lovable. So we have, this is just in interfaces like forms and buttons and everything. So when we click on these buttons, it updates Supabase, and it's somehow either from Supabase or directly connected to N8N and runs different automations and enrichments and workflows, right? Because Lovable by itself is not an automation platform. It is just an interface, right? Right. But Claude is. So I think I'm getting it. Guys, I think we're getting it. So this is basically a suite of tools all in one. So Claude Code logo. Can we get this logo, please? Copy image, paste here. So Claude Code is like all in one, but I don't think, I mean, I honestly don't think that it's gonna replace Supabase, at least for a good applications, right? So like it can probably store some data, but it's not about Supabase, right? It's just a storing data, right? It's like, but you need to store the data somewhere on the servers, somewhere, right? I mean, you can store it locally, but let's say you're building an application for something. So, I mean, probably like some sort of a hosting is required. But this, I think, is where we are merging it in one. And the reason why I started to think this way is because, again, maybe in the last week, I received like 20 messages of like, hey, Eugene, are you guys planning to move from N8N to Claude Code? And I was like, what? Like, wait, what? I mean, yeah, like, but for the past 2 years, everyone was like learning N8N, like the fuck. So now you're telling me to move to the Claude Code? Like the answer is no. And I don't think that we will find anything right now that will make me switch from N8N to the Claude Code. But the fact that people ask this question tells me that they don't understand shit how things work. And I don't, okay? But at least I have a common logic. So, first of all, like, regardless of all the features and of the possibilities, N8N is a visual builder. Okay? Claude Code is a text. Okay? It's a text interface.
Control, all of it inside the same.
We will watch his video, but whatever, right? So it is a text interface. By the way, this is another video. So like, you don't like, okay, so now it's whatever this, yeah, so I was talking about this app. I can't remember the name of it. Just code or whatever. So my thinking is that you just type in Claude Code and it is creating all these JSON files, because in reality, this automation is just a JSON file. And what the JSON is, it's just like the way text is structured. It's like a document. I don't know, like, what is JSON? How to explain that? JSON is a lightweight text-based data interchange format using to store existing, like, again, so I think you got it, right? So like, I guess it's just a JSON that has all of these things, that has everything already built. So if we download it, if we open it in Firefox, it's not gonna open in Firefox for me, but let me open it up here. So it's a huge JSON file, okay? So now, what I'm thinking is that Claude Code is creating this JSON himself. So you don't need to build it on the N8N. Okay? You don't need to build this entire thing. You can just say what you want and it will create it. Now, then, to me, this is a speak to JSON file builder. But now, because like, of course, N8N has, wherever this is, like AI builder, right? So like you could already talk to Claude and say, hey, Claude, this is what people were doing. Like Claude could generate you the JSON file on the N8N so that you would just import it and it will populate it here. Okay? Hey. Hope it's working right now. I don't know what's going on with Claude today, but okay, probably on my side. So yeah, so here, don't build N8N workflows, agentic Claude code. Okay, so let's hear what the Samir has to say. But before I watch this video, just to finalize. So my guess is that it combines Lovable where you can, chat and it creates the output, the interface. Yes, definitely. But it also builds the backend automations because Lovable cannot do that. I mean, on Lovable, this is what we do, right? So like we have these automations and we have like different ones, right? So we have, for example, the one prompt internal workflows that we are using for, to update this prompt with the Supabase, which is like super simple, but that is using API, calls to the Supabase. But like this, right? So like let's say we want from this interface connect to Supabase and update the prompts. Now we could use it directly. Look, so this is more like this is a bad type of the example, I think, because this is a very simple workflow. But we could say, hey Claude, here's my Supabase. Please create an automation that will like create a workflow that will check for this, and update. I don't know if Lovable would be able to do that, but we're currently using N8N for it. And the reason being is because, again, it's not just us using the software, it's also our license holders. So this is why if you see here, you will see that these are variables, right? So like an API keys and everything, these are variables that are coming from this. So technically maybe Lovable would be able to do that, but it would do a bad job. But Claude Code can do it by itself, okay? Without any other things. Okay? So let's watch Samir.
Only have it break the next day. I have more times than I want to admit. I built probably 300 to 600 automations by this point with Zapier, Make, N8N, you name it. So I'm going to tell you something that might sound controversial. You need to stop building AI automations and start building agentic workflows. Let me explain. Anthropic recently supercharged Claude Code, and it's really completely changing how we build AI systems. No-code tools just give us a visual way to build, but you still have to manually connect all the dots and troubleshoot when things break. But now, if you set up Claude Code the right way...
Yes, by the way, Samir, I know Samir, being posting content on YouTube for quite some time. So he was doing what we are doing right now. So let's see if he found a better way of doing things. And he's claiming that you can use the Claude Code to now replace the N8N to build the workflows. Okay, pretty strong statement. So let me open this workflow just so that I can visually show it to you guys here. So pretty strong statement that we can replace this one.
You just describe what you want in plain English, and Claude Code figures out the how, writes all the code, and even corrects itself when it runs into errors. So in this video, I'm going to show you the framework I use for building these agentic workflows. Then we'll use Claude Code to build an AI agent that scrapes multiple sources, analyzes the content, and generates even new content for me to publish. So by the end of this video, you'll understand why this is the future of automation, and you'll be able to build your own automations just by speaking. Let's get into it. So what's actually wrong with the way most people are building automations right now? Here's the thing. No-code tools like N8N, Zapier, Make, they were a massive step forward. For the first time, you didn't need to be a developer to connect these apps together. You could just drag, drop, connect, done. But here's the problem. Look at this. This is an automation I built a while back. And when I built it, I thought I was being clever.
Look at all these nodes, all these connections. It's doing a lot of things. But now I have absolutely no idea what half of this stuff does. And that's the first problem. These workflows turn into visual spaghetti. Think of it like this. Imagine you're building a Jenga tower. Every block you add is a step in your automation. The first
Yes.
block, let's say, triggers when a new lead comes in. The second sends it to a spreadsheet. The third, Slack follow-up, stuff like that. Now you've got this tower and it works, it's standing. But what happens when one of those blocks change? Maybe there's an API update. Maybe the spreadsheet column gets renamed. Maybe you change the name of the Slack channel. One block shift and the whole tower comes crashing down. And now you're spending 3 hours digging through nodes trying to figure out which one.
Okay.
But here's the thing, that's not even the real problem. The real problem is you, the orchestrator. Every step, every connection, every piece of logic, every if this then that, you have to define it manually, one by one. You're not building an intelligent system really. You're building a very complicated recipe. And if anything goes off script, it breaks. You're basically acting as the brain for the system that has no brain of its own. And I'll be honest with you, I spent years doing this, building elaborate automations, feeling proud. Exactly what we're going to be building later in this video. But first, additional automation, you define every single step. You're the architect, you're the builder. You debug too, you're everything. But with agentic workflows, you define a goal and the agent gets to figure out all the steps. That's it, that's the shift.
Okay, so I like the beginning of the video. So he is giving us a clearer picture. So what he is saying is that we're having all this N8N workflows. Let's open the same one. That yes, it's hard to figure out what's going on. There are all the things that you need to pre-configure. And you need to maintain that. So like you need to stay on top of that, right? Stay on top of this workflow. I mean, when something changes, you need to understand like what's going on, where to change it, like what to change what. Like, for example, I am not 100% on the same page when the API documentation is getting changed and this, channel is getting changed because, like, for example, we are always using the like fields right here. So like, let's say if the Go high level API key is getting used in multiple instances of the, workflow somewhere here, right? We are not going to be changing it everywhere. We're just changing it like just here, right? So like technically, yes, but he's saying that it is even simpler. So you just say the agent what you need and it's going to create you the magic. So it's going to create this thing. Now I have two concerns. I have two objections that Samir would need to handle, okay? Objection number one that first comes to mind is tech, non-tech stuff. So I love how these guys, and this is crazy to me. I wanted to start with the statement at the beginning of the video, but here it is. Aren't you seeing that the world is like the YouTube is crazy? Like everyone right now became a developer? Like what is going on? I mean, I never had this, like, let's say what he's going to be using. Like this by itself. Like, come on. I mean, like, isn't this harder than N8N? Like, or in Lovable? Like, you just chat with Lovable because here, sorry, I'm not promoting Lovable, okay? I'm just saying that this is one of the platforms where you can talk and see the blocks interface, okay? So this is kind of easy to understand. And then you have N8N, which is visual. So they're saying, oh, but now you can, like, it's complex, so now you can just chat with Claude. Like, okay, but first of all, you need to install this shit. Like, you need to install this. And okay, maybe installation seems scary to me. By the way, this is not, I think this is not a Claude code. Or maybe it is. Maybe it's a local. I don't know. Like, do you see what I mean? So it's like, you need to go through this, like, installations and folders and, like, MD files, markdowns, and, like, so it is crazy. I mean, if we go to the Nick video, Nick will probably show it this somewhere at the end.
Requesting web pages and stuff. The time that the thinking occurs, it sticks all.
So like this, I mean, doesn't this scares you? I mean, like, come on, guys. Yeah, sure. I don't believe that Nick will, like, build all of these things. So sure, like, you're just going to be talking with the Claude and it's going to be creating these files. Yes, I get it. But I hope you understand that this is the first point, that for a non-technical guy, like, it still seems weird. The second one is control. Second objection. So let's see how, Samir, you're going to handle that in the video. Because what he's saying, and I agree with that, Samir is saying, that, hey, you can just say what you want.
Fixing
right?
any error Claude Code. Links in the description.
Wait.
Two things in, and how to even handle edge case. So let's get into it. Okay,
so what he's saying is that you're gonna be like, let's say here, hey, I need multiple agents that will split the replies and will transfer to the human. And if the person wants to transfer to the human, then you will trigger this weapon. So okay, sure, but isn't it as good as your prompt is? And this is what, yeah, so this is what they are saying, right? So like the application will be as good as your prompt is, but how you're gonna debug this, like how you're gonna change things, especially for complex use cases. I mean, and this is the whole point of me not defending the real developers, but trying to be aware of the fact that I don't think the developers are gone in the near future. So I don't think that now everyone will become a vibe coder and a dude from parents' basement can now build a Facebook, right? This is the case for some cases, but you still need, like, if you're building this sort of an application, and this is like more of a simple use case, but you need to understand, you don't need to understand the backend, but someone needs to have a control. So with the N8N, at least the control can be visual. So at least you can see it visually. But on the Claude, you're going to be typing and seeing the weird, things happening. You're not going to know what the heck is going on. So I don't know about that. Like, I just don't. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, because Claude can fix errors by himself. Yeah, I get it, right? So like, for example, hey, this is not working. Hey, this has changed. But do I want to... So I either need a developer who are going to be reviewing the code just in case something happens if I'm going to the production, or I need something visual so that a no-coder can understand. But okay, so these are objections. Let's see.
We established the problem, and now we see what an agentic workflow looks like. But here's the thing. Just knowing that Claude Code exists doesn't mean you'll get good results out of it. You need a framework to use this tool properly. And I like calling this the agentic stack. This is basically a step-by-step set of instructions written in plain English. You're answering one question. What do you want to achieve? So for example, let's say I want to monitor 5 AI creators on Instagram. I want to scrape their last post, summarize key insights every day, and I want a daily digest so I can stay on top of what's happening in the space and remake the content possibly. And that's a directive. That's the job we're going to get the AI to do. That's
Yes, this is a good example. This is a good example. I'm trying to process what he said about the YouTube creators. So you could build it in the N8N, but this would be harder. I get it. I agree. So you would go to Lovable and you would say, hey, Lovable, please create me the interface that will do that. But who is going to be doing the scraping, right? Like, the scraping needs to be done by, let's say, the agent. So let's say if you're going to be doing a webhook here, right? And then you're going to be doing the AI agent that by himself is going to get a tool like Epify, like a scraper, and with a model like a Anthropic. And then you're going to webhook response. So you need to assemble that. Sorry, not this. So webhook response. So you need to assemble this and say, hey, Lovable, please go here, like send the data of the YouTube URL that I provide here. And it's going to pass it. You need to match it. Yeah, so I mean, it is kind of manual. Like, I get it, right? It's like, yeah, sure. So if the Claude Code can do that, it's neat. And I'm pretty sure it can. Like, I'm pretty sure this is a good use case for that. But let's see. Because, by the way, agentic workflow just changed the AI. Because we would also want to check the Nate. Because Nate Hark is the N8N guy. He built his entire reputation around the N8N. But let's
It's defining the goal.
Continue.
So that was layer 1. Layer 2 is the orchestration. That's the middle layer. This is the how. This is not your job anymore. This is where Claude Code lives. It takes what you just told it, that's the directive, breaks it down into steps. It figures out what tools it needs and what order to do things in and how to even handle edge cases. It's doing the thinking you would usually have to do.
Okay.
Remember the orchestrator from earlier? The one in the pit waving their arms, telling the musicians what to do? This is that layer. Except now, AI is the orchestrator.
Yes, so basically this needs to be done by me. This needs to be done by me, and it needs to be orchestrated by me. One very, very important point. I'm not sure why I'm not finding it right now, but there's gonna be the time in the next month where the N8N will come up with a really good AI that will help you to create workflows from a text input. Look, and it's not about N8N. Guys, make.com will do the same thing, and they're probably doing that. You know, relevance AI, right? So like even VoiceFlow recently added their AI chat to agent, right? So like you're chatting and it's building the agent. So I feel that it's the same thing. So I feel that now we are comparing the Claude Code with the fact that it can create this logic. I hope it was saved. This logic by itself, by just saying, hey, I need the agent that will run the Epify and scrape the YouTube. So it will like create it. And, you know, we will pass the data from the webhook and respond. Now, people being using the, like, for example, if we download this, okay, let me go to ChatGPT because for some reason Claude is working. Hey, let's change to the Sonnet. Okay, now it's working, good. Can you please add more tools to this N8N agent and send me the JSON, okay? And I'm gonna attach the file that I have just downloaded with a JSON. No, sorry, it's the text engine. Okay, no, this is the huge one. So my workflow 16. This is gonna be my workflow 14, by the way. Okay. What would you like to agent to do? Yeah, do like Slack and web search, and that is it. It's probably gonna ask for my API keys. Skill MD. Is this what it's doing? It's probably basically it's having it on the back end, right? It's like now what I would do, I would just import it here and then connect to the interface that I am using, like for example, Lovable for. But Claude can do everything in one. So you don't need to have two tools. Okay, let's wait until it's doing that. Let me close all these things. Let's continue with the video.
Not you. Then we move on to layer 3. That's the execution. This is actually playing the instruments, the doing of the work. And to do that, what we do is we get Claude Code to write the actual code. Like, for example, Python scripts, calling the APIs, organizing the files.
Yes.
Claude Code writes all this stuff. It runs it, it tests it, and fixes it when it breaks. You're not supposed to touch any of this stuff. You don't even look at it unless you really want to. Now, here's why this matters. Before, you were responsible for all 3 layers. You need to define the goal. You need to figure out all the substeps. You wrote the code. You fixed the bugs. Now, you're only responsible for one layer, the directive. The AI handles all the orchestration and all the execution. You went from doing...
Yeah, so I mean, like we're not writing the code, right? So like we're still doing the definition, so we need to understand what our goal is, and then so I would like skip the first point, and we're basically replacing the 2 points with just one, which is the Claude.
Figuring out how and actually doing it. This is a completely different way of working, and I'm super creator scraper. That's something that monitors all the AI creators I like on Instagram, pulls their latest content and summarizes it for me, just so I can recreate the content if I want and grow my audience. All by just describing what I want. Let's get into it. Now look, understanding this framework is the first step, but actually applying it to your own business problems, that's where the real power is. Actually, if you guys want, I've put together an agentic stack. It's in the link in the description below. It's free. It's in the school resource hub inside YouTube video resource.
Sure.
After to do is just interact with this chatbot. It's gonna be super simple. Claude Code made it way better. So now, I'm on Mac, but what first you need to do is make sure you select...
Their interface is very sleek. I love this little guy.
...the folder. So I'm just going to go to my Finder, and I'm going to right-click, and I'm going to make a new folder. What you want to do,
okay,
folder architecture we talked about. I'm going to be taking this, and And now I want to make sure we're only just chatting with this chatbot here to get our work done. And you see, it's going to ask you if you always allow. You can hit allow. Okay, cool. So
like, see, guys, like, I mean, okay, so it's not technical, like, right? So it's gonna do everything yourself, but then you're gonna allow, and then you're gonna click allow here
to get our work done. And you see,
does anyone of you know what this is? What this is? This is like allow to run. I mean, you click run, and then it's gonna burn your computer. I mean, it's not gonna do this. It's just an over saturated example. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're basically clicking buttons. You are reviewing all these YouTube creators who are telling you they're great, guys. Like, the guys are great. They're telling you to do a certain thing that you don't know what this is. Like, you just don't. And one very important clarification. I believe that this is just the beginning. So, is the interface of the Claude Code is going to change? Yes. Is it going to be more simple? Yes. So it's just outputting you all of these details visually so you can track. No one knows what's going on besides maybe Samir. So out of the 150,000 people that watch this video, maybe 5,000 would know what is going on the screen. Other than that, people don't know. So they're just typing and clicking the buttons that the guys like Samir told you to click because this is needed to start this up, but you don't know what is going on the back end. And do you, again, this is the question, like, do you need to know this? Because in the beginning of the video, I said that this is made for entrepreneurs. We as entrepreneurs, we don't need to know what's going on. So do I care who does it? A developer or a Claude Code? I probably don't, because I don't know what's going on either. But would I want to build my business? And like, YouTube Scraper is a great example. And I'm pretty sure that the Claude Code is great for these type of examples where you can spin the cool things, the useful things for your personal life, for your business that can definitely, replace the manual need of like going through the agent builder platforms. But the question here remains the same. Would I want to use it in the production for my startup, for my business, for my clients? And if the answer is yes, then the next question that you need to answer is that how, because if you're spending the time on it, how would it compare long term to you having more of the control over the visual flow like this, when you might understand the visual flow and how the things are moving, where in the Claude you don't understand this? By the way, so I think here it did create the file already, so let's download that. Let's download the file. We downloaded the file, so let's remove it. Let's see what happened. So import from file. So this one. So it kind of created something, okay? It created something, right? But it did it, right? So it did that. So this is what it's doing. And if Claude, would I prefer that? Probably yes. This is why right now I don't see any reason why would I move from N8N or the visual builders, because if there is something complex, again, I'm talking about my team, right? So like they would build it themselves. But if there is something complex, I would probably still need to do it manually to understand the entire logic, right? So they would build it through the N8N or through other visual builders because it's just more visual and you have control over it. Because I don't have we have two full stack developers, but they're not doing full stack development. They're, handling the backend development on top of our low no code, applications and solutions. But for something quick, I don't know. So let's see.
It's gonna ask you if you always allow. You can hit allow. Okay, cool. So this is done. Now, just to verify, I want to show you this. If you go in here, okay, so this is still happening. It's not done yet. And allow for session that it's there. If you open it up, okay, so if you open it up, you see it's the exact same thing that we copied, all right? Okay, so that's good. Now let's say, hey, based on the Claude MD, can you set up our environment?
Are you serious right now? Guys, like based on Claude MD, can you set up our environment? Like, I don't know what the MD is, and I don't know what the heck is environment. I mean, it's a joke. I mean, I'm sorry. Look, it's not about Samir. I'm pretty sure like Samir is explaining everything very, very good. Maybe there is like already being updates because it was a month ago, sure, and it's gonna make it better. But like, I mean, it's a joke. Like, people are saying that it's easier than like N8N, but now you need to input some words that you don't even know exist. So now you need to go through the entire coding like linguistical exploration, trying to understand like what are these phrases are. And it's not hard. I mean, it's not rocket science. You can do that, but like, why? Like, if you can just visually build things, and if you cannot build things, if your solution is too complex that you cannot build it on the N8N, okay, so try to build it with a Claude or with ChatGPT to the N8N. And if you cannot do that, then I guess hire someone. And sorry, already I'm making some conclusions. I'm gonna piss some people off, guys. Sorry again. I'm, you know me. If you know me, I start to get emotional for certain topics. I believe that the Claude Code is great. Like, I see it, right? So like, I see it. It's just that I don't see this being too much useful for people who don't know tech, right? Yes, it is easier, but for a certain use cases, for the personal use, not for the business use, not for the entrepreneurs, not for the product founders who are looking to sell things. At least this is my current view on this. For after about what? About an hour of exploring the Claude Code. So let's continue with the video. Okay, so...
Okay, great. So now it's set up our environment with all this stuff. And if I go back to my Finder, if you want to see it, now it has the directives folder, and it set up our executions folder. Okay, cool. Now...
Okay, he's...
And public. So
what's that? Wait, what's that?
The reason we're building this automation is because I actually use it all the time. And this is the N8N automation that we're going to be rebuilding. Normally, to figure this out, it took quite a few hours. But right now, I'm going to show you how all this can be done.
Okay. So he's rebuilding this workflow.
Using Claude Code without understanding all the little things that's been going on here, all right? So we also have a test.
But come on, like, what are the little things that are going on here? You know, Airtable API call by default. Instagram probably asks, there's a get Instagram post transcript. It's probably some another tool. If else statements, yeah, sure. This is gonna be probably if row whatever. This like the checkers of the CSV file. So this might be confusing. Then the LLM chain and open router LLMs
on the back with N8N if we want to verify if anything's going wrong. But we don't need any of that. Right now, we just need to tell it what we want. So this automation, what it's doing is literally scraping creators that I like. And for each of those creators, it's generating their content. It's scraping their content and then using that to create a script for myself that I can record and publish that content, all right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll show you some stuff. I actually have a video of me building this automation, and this is something we're just gonna be updating. Okay, so to do that, what am I gonna do? Let me just start speaking to Claude again. Let me keep this simple. So I want to scrape the latest Instagram posts from a couple creators in the AI space. For each post, I want to extract video that they have posted every day. Then we are going to extract what they're talking about in Instagrams for you.
Okay.
And let me just go find their Instagram. I'll paste it here. Go back.
So he's doing some creator API keys.
That's
So
my contribution. I told it what I want. Now watch what happens. And you see here that it's doing all this crazy stuff.
Yeah.
That it's breaking down the problem. It's not jumping straight into the code before I approved it right here. Did you see how it was deciding to use the scrape creator tool? I didn't have to mention that. It went to the internet and found it. It's going to be testing it. And if something breaks, it'll read the error and then fix
But he's chilling until the Claude is busy working, creating some code. Okay, let's see.
Okay, that's actually really cool. Let me show you guys. Okay, so you see how there's literally like a Kanban board. It made that. This is so cool. Creators 4, the contents scripts 3. You can refresh it.
Yeah, it is cool. Yeah.
Let's see. Next rev. Okay, this is off this source. If you're still paying for API keys, you're wasting your time and money. It's pretty cool. Generate script. Good news, you can access how. Let's see. Let's review. Oh, got it. And anything that it needed help with, it fixed it itself until it got done. And that's what I really like about this. It made the summaries for each of the creators and then fixed that. Of course, you can polish it, but the polish is just me talking to the AI a bit more and improving the system prompt. So that's the demo. That's what building with Claude Code actually looks like. You might be wondering, when should I use this? And is this the right tool for everything? So let's talk about that. So I want to show you this. So you see here, it's running into error.
So, okay. I saw the real use case. Now we're going to talk about the use cases. We're going to talk about the ways how you can monetize it, because we are looking at this from a perspective of entrepreneur who is either using it for your own business or selling it, or building a startup selling, you know, the product that is based on the Claude Code build. What he did was very impressive. I agree. So this would be harder to pull up with like yourself with the N8N in Lovable. But it's a simple use case. So I'm trying to think on myself, but it's not like it's a building a rocket. So it's pretty self-explanatory real life use case that is much easier to do on the Claude Code. I agree. So let's see what he has to say in terms of the use cases.
Additional automation breaks like this N8N one I was showing you. What happens? Maybe you get an error. Maybe you get an email notification if you set that up. And then you have to go in, you have to figure out what went wrong and then fix it. But with an agentic workflow, the agent reads that error message, it understands the problem, and rewrites its own code to fix it. Like literally like this. Like it's rewriting its own code and fixing it. Now think about what that means. You're not a debugger anymore. You're not getting paged or tearing your hair out because some API format changes. The agent handles it. And if it can't handle it, then it tells you, but 80% of the time, it fixes itself and moves on. That's not automation, that's resilience. And the second superpower I love about Claude Code is its parallel processing. And here's something that would take you hours to set up in N8N that we just did right now in a few minutes. With Claude Code, you can say, make it faster. But the cool part is that you're not limited to just building one automation at a time. You can just hit new session and then do it over and over again. And Claude Code lets you do that all sequentially in parallel. And that's it. That's the instruction.
But I mean, the new he said like new automation isn't it the new instance or the parallel execution? But yes, guys. So let's analyze what he has to say. Okay, because we're not here to roast Claude Code. Okay, even though it may feel this way before, but. Okay, so what happened? So he went into, so we would, use Lovable, and we would use like N8N to build it up. Because again, you could just go to the N8N, but you need the interface, right? So you need something, but like instead you just use Claude, and the Claude does everything for you. Yes, there is a pain of going over all of these things that you don't understand. But it's worth. Is it like the question is it worth it? The quick answer is yes, it is. But let's explore. What I'm feeling, okay? So this is just a feeling, you don't need a super base, but let's put it here. So my feeling when I see this is that I have no idea what's going on. I have no idea. no control. Like I just don't know what is going on under the hood, right? I just don't know this. It's doing something, it's building something, but do we really care? Do I care what is going on? I mean, so for example, I have developers, right? So who are building our products and the workflows for our clients. Like I'm not going in depth. So I have a CTO who is obviously communicating with them, but I am not involved in the building process. So I don't know what's going on, right? I don't know the backend processes. I just know the result. And I just do. I mean, I see this interface and I see that it's working how I expect it to work. So as a business owner, this is the only thing that I care about. So then the question to you, Eugene, is why you're not using the Claude Code yet? And are you planning to use it? Okay, so let me go a bit further. Probably my biggest concern here is that it's not about control, it's about future and the future errors and debugging that could happen. Okay? If this video gets viral, I would love any of you guys. I know that for those who are technical, who've been using Claude Code for quite some time, to help me on that. Okay, again, like I'm asking you, the developers, I've been communicating with them, but I don't want them to start exploring everything until we kind of finish up the current workload, plus we know that this is worth exploring further. So I would want you guys to comment on the fact that if I'm missing something here, where when I say what happens when Claude is going in the loop of not able to fix a problem. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys faced this thing by just like using ChatGPT. So you start talking with it, right? So you start putting instructions. Maybe you create a custom GPT, maybe you create a custom project on Lovable, whatever, right? But at a certain point, it starts hallucinating and not following all the instructions. This is why you would want to redo the thread. If you're, having a new project, it's easier because you have all the instructions in your current project. But it's just not able to give you a good answer after a certain stage. And this is like just my feeling, what is happening with a lot of, LLMs right now. Okay. So this is why you have the projects, right? So for example, that you can come in here, right? And again, the projects are available on most of the LLMs, like ChatGPT also has. So like you're creating a project here, right? And then you have, let's say, the memory, the instructions, files, and like the skills and everything. So this is like a base, and then it's kind of creating on top of it. But because you don't control the code, at least you don't know what's happening under the hood of this. Like you can probably review that. Yeah, sure, but you're not technical, right? So like we are as founders, let's say we build this. So let's say in this example that Samir is showing, there are probably two use cases. So the use case number one is personal use, okay? Personal light use. So when we're using it for, sure, it's probably not going to break. And even if it breaks, I guess, sure, it can redo and it can self-reflect and try to fix the errors, but it's not perfect. We've built more than 10 production applications using Lovable and Bolt powering it by the Supabase and N8N. And I can tell you, I was doing the wireframes myself, and then the backend was handled by the team. And I can tell you that at a certain point, by just saying things that, hey, this is not working, this is not working. Okay, so look at the review column. Okay, padding at the left padding at the review column is not correct. Then it's not doing this. At a certain point, you're gonna be cooked. And it's not just about the volume of messages that you send. You can, if you're lucky, you can never face this issue. But being in the trenches, trying to figure it out, trying to figure out the vibe coding for our own use cases, I did notice that when it's complex error, like it just like it's hard for the AI to figure it out. So the way we were doing that is my devs were going into the code that the Claude created, analyzing it, and based on this code, outputting the details. Because when I say Claude, because again, the Lovable works on top of the Claude. So we were like analyzing the code, okay? So we were analyzing it in the, in this, code editor, seeing what's going on, and then prompting it to fix it. Do you understand what I'm talking about? So for personal light use, you probably not face it, but for the selling, pro, clients, agency, scale, so for all of these use cases, like pretend you would sell this content pipeline engine. Pretend that there's going to be 10 companies that pays you $10,000 for this content engine. Just as an example, okay? It doesn't matter, like SaaS, whatever. It doesn't matter, guys. And it's not necessarily relevant to the guys who are looking to sell it. Same thing relevant for your own company. So let's say you build an application and now 20 of your employees are using this application. So what happens, so this is this use case. What happens when it's done? When it's like, it's gone? I mean, something's not working. So, like, you're trying to fix it. But what if you can't figure this out? What are your next steps? Tell me. I don't know. My steps were, like, ask my developers, and they were fixing it. But you are watching this video, so tell me, what am I missing? Guys who've been playing around with Claude Code for quite some time, I'm genuinely curious. Help me to understand. Am I correct here, or am I missing something? In the production things, in the scale things, like you're giving your entire business in the hands of a Anthropic company, in the Claude. So like, hey Claude, like you're gonna pray as God, trying to like hope that it will always fix all the problems. And maybe it will. And I'm pretty sure for most cases it will. This is why I do deeply believe that Samir showed an awesome use case. We will review some more use cases right now. Like, if you would build this, yeah. Heck no, N8N. Like, no, I would not go to the N8N. I would watch the Samir video. I would go through this pain of setting it up locally and whatever, like not understanding any terms, and then just typing and like creating cool applications. Sure, I would do that. And I would recommend you to do that. But for the like serious things, like for the business operations internally, at least for us or for our clients, I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about that. I mean, again, I'm in a bit of a different position. I have the developers. So my developers can use Claude Code. So it's just going to remove the N8N from the equation, right? And it's still going to be code. So whenever something is not working, they will just go through the code and just like say the same exact thing, right? So for me, yes. I mean, now, like, for me, this is like, I'm probably more of a better use case for using the Claude Code in the production rather than the majority of you guys, because I have a team, I have the developers. So for them, it doesn't matter going through the Lovable or code generated or going through the Aniden code generated. But now, again, the problem here is that when something is not working, so there are two things, right? So the first thing is the front end, okay? And the back end, like it's the back end, front and back end. And then there is like AI agent automations, whatever. So in our case, right, AI agents and automations are done by the N8N, and the front end is done by Lovable. So when the Claude Code generates the code and something is not working, let's say something breaks, okay? Let's say you're a developer, or it's going to be my developers. So they're going inside, and what would be in the same application is done on Lovable plus N8N, and the same application is done on just Claude Code. So which use case will be easier to debug? If Claude Code is stuck, this is what I'm talking, like if it's stuck, I don't know. I feel that it's just easier because like it's stuck with what? Like we can go to the N8N and we can see, oh, okay. So we can go through the executions and see, oh, there is an error. So error where? Let's check it out. It is the error of here, okay, memory. So something is not working here. So like it's visual and it's easily fixable, but let's say there are no errors, everything is working, so it's probably on the code side on the Lovable, so let me go to the Lovable. But in the Claude Code, maybe it's gonna be more messier. I don't know. I'm not claiming it. I'm just, again, exploring. Would love to hear your guys' thoughts. And after this video, I would want to ask my developers to explore this opportunity. Because, again, as I said, for us, maybe it is an option. I still don't think that we're going to move it because I like to have... Like, I like when there are two variables. There's a Lovable and there's an N8N. When there is, like, interface and there is a backend. So it's just more structured way to think about it. But when you don't have anyone, like I don't know, like all of these clients paid you $5,000 or $10,000 for this content pipeline. So now good luck figuring it out. Like on N8N, at least you can go watch YouTube videos, okay? That like will go, literally you can watch the videos that can explain all of the blocks and you can debug it. But debugging Claude Code, I feel like you need to be a developer. So like you're not, like you will need to still hire someone. But now you're hiring someone to debug what is already working. And so like it's an entire mess. Guys, do you understand what I'm talking about? I'm probably missing something. I agree, I understand. So please be patient with me. But the thesis here is that it's extremely like good like thing. It's extremely good thing to combine great use cases into under like one hood. But for the production, real life money making top core operational applications, I don't know, guys. So for the business owners, again, for the business owners. Now, if you have a technical team like I do, this is the question. Like, I don't have an answer. Like, if you have a technical team, like, what's going to be easier for you? I mean, again, I'm in a bit of a different position because I am, like, a YouTuber with 100 views. Plus, I like it. Like, I like this game, okay? I'm not liking, you know, building it all myself, but I'm liking seeing it and understanding it. So this thing's visual, but with the Claude Code, I don't understand shit. I cannot record videos now. On my YouTube channel, I was recording a lot of videos about our, you know, N8N workflows and other workflows because I can understand them. I can visually see what is happening. But with a Claude, like code, like it's just code. That's it. So I cannot create content around it. I mean, people are creating a content on how to use it, so maybe I'm gonna also start doing that to get more views. But other than that, I don't know, guys. I just honestly don't have an answer. So let's check out what the Nate has to say.
AI automation is about to change forever. Most workflows today only do exactly what you tell them, nothing more. But agentic workflows are different. You basically give them an outcome, not just a flow, and they figure out the steps by themselves. So in this video, I'm gonna explain the shift, and then I'm gonna build one, you fix it, and then you test it again, which means every API connection, every variable, every condition, that's all on you. But with agentic, it's a bit different. Instead of telling the system how to do something, you just tell it what you want in plain English. So you explain where the data is coming from, what needs to happen, and then where it should end up. The agent then figures out the rest. So just think about it like you're hiring an actual human developer. You wouldn't go in there and explain every single line of code. You would just explain the outcome that you're looking for, what problem you're trying to solve, what tools you're working with, and what the end result should look like. And then they'd go build it for you. So here's the thing. If you can't explain clearly what you want, then how could you expect a human or an AI agent to actually build that? So there has to be a clear scope. You don't need to know how to code, but you do need to know how to communicate your plan clearly. And the good news is you can actually use the agent to just brainstorm. So if you tell it roughly what you're trying to do, then it'll ask you all the questions that it needs answered in order to actually build a robust solution. And that's the huge shift, because you can go from being the person who constructs every piece of the puzzle to being the person who just defines what do you want the puzzle to look like. So there are 4 main changes that I need you to understand yourself. You just explain what good looks like there. But this new generation, it feels the right questions and guide you. Now, something else I think is really cool is that you can have multiple agents running simultaneously.
Okay, so basically what he's saying is that you rely completely on the Claude Code, right? It's like you rely completely on the agent right now to build your entire thing. And your business is relied on Claude agent. And this is probably a good definition of my concern. I just don't. I just don't want that. I just don't want that. I want the Claude agent to do the tasks. I want the agent to do the, automations. But I don't want my entire business infrastructure, a core product, to be handled by just an agent. Now, even if it's like multiple agents, even though because there are humans for that. Like I trust humans more than AI. Come on, okay? Let's be real. When it comes to the real working thing, of course it depends on the human, and I just don't know how to correctly pair it yet, Claude Code with the humans, and this is kind of my problem.
So if I asked 10 of the best AI engineers that I knew to build me a solution, I'd probably get 10 different versions, even though all 10 of them work. And sometimes the only way to know which one's best is just by testing them all out. So you could be brainstorming a process with an agent, and you could say, please suggest the 5 best approaches for this, workflow. And then instead of having to guess which one you think you should try, just say, okay, cool. Agent 1, try method number 1. Agent 2, try 2. 3, try 3, and so on. And then you can step away, grab a cup of coffee, come back when they're all done, and then stress test all of those solutions to see which one's like the cheapest, the fastest, and the highest quality. Number 3 is about security. So when you think about the fact that you're building code that you don't really know what it's doing, you have to think about security. And these agents are writing and editing real code. And I know that a lot of you don't want to know how to read that or don't know how to read that, and I don't either. So don't worry, you don't have to. Because these same large language models that are generating that code can also constantly review it for security problems and vulnerabilities. And they can do that on every single change, not just once.
So right now, he's just explaining it himself clearly. You're fully relied on the AI. So AI is monitoring security, AI is monitoring the errors, AI is monitoring like the building process, AI is brainstorming, like AI is doing everything. And yeah, it's very funny to hear these things from me, from the person who built my reputation around teaching people about the AI, that, hey, you probably don't want that. But again, I'm just trying to be realistic when it comes to the business. So it's not that it can do that. It's just that what if? Like, what if scenarios? Maybe this is my Eastern European mentality of trying to be always pessimistic and being a strategic pessimism with everything that I do. Maybe. But yeah, so I don't know. Like, I honestly don't know.
Think about it like you're having a security-obsessed developer sit right next to you while you're building your automation, and every time something changes, they double-check. Are the API keys hidden? Is sensitive data being logged somewhere that it shouldn't be? This can happen automatically as part of that self-healing loop. So every time the agent proposes an edit, it reviews its own work, it makes the changes, and then it makes sure that everything's still secure. And of course, you can build in all of these guardrails with natural language. So you could just say something like, never send customer phone numbers to any third-party tool, or always make sure to stop this work from keys, and then the agent figures out the rest. Because instead of you having to read those tries, rate limits, pagination, webhooks, all of that stuff, that can definitely be a bit of a pain to build in manually in a workflow builder like End-to-End. Of course, you still need to go grab your API keys, but you won't wrestle with like low-level technical details anymore, because your energy now is going towards what actually happens, not how to configure the API call. All right, so now that you know the 4 main changes, let's actually just go ahead and build a super quick agentic workflow together. Okay, so for the actual live build of an agentic workflow, I thought that we would do a lead generation automation because it's one of the most common types of automations that I get requests for, and you're gonna see how easy it is to actually spin up.
Sure, so we're gonna go over the use cases in a little bit, but right now, I want to finalize my thoughts. So I know that a lot of you guys who would not agree with my statements are gonna say that, hey, Eugene, if you are that concerned, go only code route, okay? Hire full stack developers and let them build the entire thing. Why are you even using AI? Why are you even using, AI agents? Fair. Let me handle the objection. Because I think it's a middle ground. Like, I think it's not that it's not ready. Like, I've seen that. Like, I've seen what Samir built. Like, I see the pipeline in, like, this whatever content pipeline. It is working, right? So it's not like it's not ready. It's probably not ready for like a super high-end application, but it's cool. I mean, but there are 3 layers. So this is the first layer, right? So where you're doing like everything yourself or everything manually, right? With this full stack. And then you're using the Claude code. This is an extreme, right? So this is an extreme of you being like fully reliant on AI. So here you rely on humans, okay? Rely on humans. And here you rely on Claude. I mean, yes, of course, I could say like I would rather want to rely on humans, but it's not about that. Because the way we do the things right now with the no-code stack, not just one tool, here, this allows us to have the middle ground, where we are using humans who are building the logic, okay? But we are not building it ourselves. We are not writing code. We're not writing JSON files, right? So we are still using the no-code applications. So we get the benefits from both worlds. And the developers, some of you guys, who've been in the, stack for quite some time, maybe some of you graduated like developers, maybe some of you have been working at startups, you should know that hiring a person as a replacement for a core dev of your company is a pain. It is a pain, right? Because there are so many nuances. This is why, right, it's like this route is a hard route. But now, again, as I said, like fully relying on Claude Code, like who you can replace it with? Like what? Like ChatGPT? I mean, what you would probably do if you would be yourself solo building a very production-ready Claude Code application and you're stuck, it's literally not able to fix the error, like you probably, I don't know, like copying it, going to Claude manually, going one by one, line by line, paragraph by paragraph, JSON by JSON, trying to see what is going on and trying to debug it that way. Like, it's probably gonna work at some point. It's just gonna, waste a lot of time. But this stack can be easily replaced. This is the point. You just go to Upwork. So let's say I have about 20 clients right now actively in the production. So most of them are using the interface. Some sort of an interface that we built on Lovable or either Bolt. On Bolt we have just a few, which are the older ones, plus the NNN, plus the Supabase, plus the Go High Level. So let's say someone from my team gone tomorrow. I go to Upwork and I search for NNN and I find a gazillion guys. Okay. I found like Lovable or just vibe coding. It doesn't have to be Lovable and vibe coding. And I can replace any of the points. So for a new developer that comes to my team, it's easier to understand what is going on here rather than going to Claude and understanding the entire code that was written. Do you understand what I'm talking about? And again, it depends on the use case. Of course, like if the code is not huge and if there's like a super high skill developer, he'll understand it pretty fast. But then if he doesn't agree with a certain thing, so he needs to rewrite this thing and talk with Claude to rewrite it. So it's like it's an entire mess. But here, or like everything is visual, you can just like replace the thing and here and there, it's super visual. Plus I, as an owner, because I am ish, no code ish technical, so I can see if it's correct, if it's not, and we can have other people. So it's like it's visual, it's a collaboration. This is probably what I'm having like as a conclusion, right? So I would rather spend additional time, additional money, additional human resources that would build a linear or agentic workflows, but visually, and spreading my risk across multiple apps rather than relying on just one Claude Code application. So this is probably what I'm having in terms of the conclusion. Now, right now, I want to explore the use cases that people are presenting right now for the Claude Code and just show you that most of them don't make any sense when it comes to the actual production. For you looking to build a business around it, right? Starting with the Samir. Content pipeline. Again, you wouldn't be able to build an entire startup around this idea because there are hundreds of them who are building a similar thing in a more efficient and scalable way. So you can spin it as an MVP, but then you're going to have a hard time either marketing the solution and then maintaining if you scale it, if you scale the number of users. So let's see what the Nate has to say in terms of the use case.
So before we actually hop into Claude Code, which is what we're going to be using today, I just wanted to familiarize everyone with what we're actually going to be looking at, because otherwise I know it seems a little intimidating. So basically, we're going to be in VS Code workflows agent tools. The agent is the brain of the structure. We've got .tmp for temporary files. I'm not going to explain that right now. We've got tools, which will be our Python scripts for This section is not going to be a full tutorial. I just wanted to familiarize us all so that we can see what's actually provide custom AI consulting and implementation. And I need you to do research about these people, scrape the leads, write them a personalized outreach message, and then put all of this data in a Google Sheet for me so that I can just start going to work. So that request that I just shot in Chicago, Illinois.
Okay.
So leads, write them, think about.
He's basically providing a request of like, hey, Claude, I need you to build a lead generation automation with great tons of the dentist in Chicago, Illinois. So he is trying to build an entire automation around the lead generation. Then he is going back and forth.
So starting off here in your inbox, you're thinking about proactive teammates that look ahead.
And then what is the result that he received?
Is developing effective harnesses for long-running agents. One agent works for a while, then leaves. Structured artificial to building all of these agents.
Okay, probably don't see it.
The 4.9 star rating from 7.
Ah, okay, so here.
It will basically come reference this workflow, understand what it needs to do and how it works, and then it will just go do it for me. So the last thing that I need to do here is give it my actual API keys so that it can use Google Places, use OpenAI, and then use my Google Sheet.
Okay, this is a bullshit use case because no one is actually going to be doing this. For the lead generation, people are going to be using the Clay because this is a software that is specifically designed for the enrichment. And if you're serious about the lead generation, you would use it. So let me right now go through, let me close all of these things. Let me go through the videos and give you guys a perspective of what it means to build an actual thing that can be valuable. So as I said, started with Samir. This is valuable for the personal use case. Agree. For the business use case of monetizing it, it's shit. Now,
how it works, and then we'll just go do it.
Here,
the last thing that I need to do here is give it my actual API keys so that it can use Google Places, use OpenAI, and then use my Google Sheets. So just like that, in a matter of minutes, I have an automation built here in Claude Code that I can continuously hit and get as many leads as I want. If we go look at the actual output that it gave us when it was just testing out 10 leads to see if it worked.
Yeah, I mean, so this is like when you're doing a scaled outreach, you would not be relying on that. You would still need to re-verify all the details because you would burn the infrastructure if anything is not correct. You would burn the leads. So this is why the places like, Clay will never, because Clay is a relatively new startup, and it's like pretty self-explanatory to use, which is, just a Google Sheet with the enrichment columns. So no real agency when it comes to the lead generation will use anything like that, but I understand that he is using it as an example. So let's go into the Claude Code ideas, use cases, and let's see what people are presenting here. Just very quickly. Insane use cases, code anything. Okay.
Claude Code has already proven to be one of those softwares that completely changes the future of the AI. With that being said, let's dive in. All right, so the first use case is processing invoices. All right, so almost every business processes invoices. And usually what they have is a folder that looks like this with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of invoices,
Yes.
but also the items. And so for each invoice, they spend about 3 to 4 minutes processing each one, not only adding them to a new folder, but also adding them to a Google Sheet, because that's how the whole accounting process works. And so all we have to do is add those invoices in the main folder. In this case, we called it invoice processing. I can go to Claude Code here. I can open the folder, which in this case, again, invoice processing.
I mean, invoicing processing, this is probably not something that you would want to sell for the companies after a certain size, because the small companies would not be able to afford this automation if you're, selling it for a few $1,000s. Now you would, undercharge them, but the bigger companies are going to be using a software that would automate the invoicing process within their ERP or the CRM. So,
and in each folder, there's different invoices. And if I go to the main invoices, we have 4, it's now empty, because it split up all the invoices by
okay, so I don't know, like it's a super specific
second
use case.
Is making Chrome extensions. All right, so this Chrome extension is mainly for personal use. Now, there's a lot of times where I personally go and look at documents and I want to save them somewhere, but I have no place to save them. And so what I do is I take the link and store it somewhere and completely forget that it's there. So in this case, what I made is a Chrome extension where I can just press save as PDF. And what this will do is it will scroll through the whole page and it will save this as a PDF. It will scroll through everything until it's at the bottom.
But okay, so if you go to the save as PDF Chrome extension, so save as PDF, so there's probably already Chrome extensions that are out there, so I'm not sure why would you want to rebuild that, but fine. So let's go to the next one.
We'll walk you through step by step how you can deploy it, how you can manage it, and how you can use it. The third use case is a YouTube strategist agent. All right, so this workflow right here basically takes my competitors, it analyzes their numbers against mine, and it gives me 5 different content ideas using Poppy AI as well to be able to make the hooks and titles and so on. Now, I've made a full video showing you exactly how I built it. You can check it out here. All I have to do here is say...
Okay, yeah, so, I mean, this is on the content analyzation. It seems that 9 out of 10 people who are building the vibe-coded automations are focusing on either the invoices or the content generation ideas. So, okay, that's fine. There should be like already apps that can do that. Research YouTube competitors AI, analyze competitors products. No, this is the SEMrush alpha competitor analysis, TubeBuddy. I mean, yeah, so these are the TubeBuddy. These are like bigger guys. Anyways, so you can probably install that, but it's paid. Of course, it's paid. Now, you can either pay a few dozens of dollars, or you can build it yourself with a Claude Code, I guess. This is okay. So this is a use case.
Use case is the SEO keyword tracker. So here I have my
SEO keyword tracker? No, not a chance. I mean, I don't even want to start talking about this, because anyone who is serious about the keywords, you can ask any SEO company. Obviously, they're going to be using something like a SEMrush that is very expensive. Yeah, I mean, sure. So this is another point. Like, you can build it for free. I mean, it's not free to use, because you would probably still use some sort of an APIs, but it's going to be much easier for you to handle than this type of the pricing. Okay. But again, if you're a serious business, you would want to invest this money into a legit tool. Next
is a lead enrichment pipeline. So right here I have my lead enrichment pipeline. I can start filling out the search term, location, number of places. I can go look at all the places that we have here. It found 18 businesses with websites, and for each website,
it's basically Clay.
With build well roofing.
Yeah, I mean, it's Clay. Can you rebuild Clay with the Claude? I do think so. There are going to be a few nuances. I would want to make sure that the interface is working correctly, and there must be zero errors, because yeah, I mean, Claude. The lead generation is a very important activity, and we or any other business is investing a lot of money into the infrastructure. This is why you don't really want to burn this with some sort of an errors. Let's go to the next one.
Facebook ads analyst. So this right here is a dashboard, and this is used to analyze ads. So let's say I was in the ads library and I would look for United States, and let's look for med spa right here, med spa.
Okay, there are Jesus.
Everything that you need, and give it back to us in the dashboard. So as you can see here, now we have all the ads. So 40 ads, 9 videos.
So okay, there is a company they called Foreplay. Foreplay. Yeah, it allows you, because we've been using it in the back of the Amazon days, that allows you to kind of analyze the ads, scrape them, and they're already having, I'm pretty sure, the AI inside that is analyzing everything. Yeah, it is pricey, but you need to pay for the good tools. So this is the whole point. These guys are rebuilding the current tools that are much better that have been proven and that will give you better results. So now, do you want to spend a month trying to build a tool, trying to debug it yourself, and trying to, debugging yourself, but chatting with a Claude, trying to debug it, rather than just using a tool for a monthly subscription? Now, skeptics can tell me, oh, Eugene, but you are so pessimistic. Then why would you even build anything? I mean, this is the whole point. Like, the reason why we are building our applications is because they are specifically based to the company use case. Okay, they cannot use an external apps. It's lack functionality. But I know these functions, so what I'm analyzing right now is what people are saying. So show me the functions that are lacking, right? So show me, because all of these things, videos, images, this can be done with the foreplay.
Let's say I was using this one. I can press analyze. This will now give us an AI ads analysis of the hook, the low effectiveness.
Yeah, no one is gonna be using it in serious media buying, but okay.
Case is an after meeting assistant. So a lot of the times when I have calls with my clients or with people from my team,
Are you serious? Like, bro, after meeting assistant.
Tasks that I can start implementing right away. With the
after meeting assistant, come on, like, we're using Gray. You're not gonna make a better app than Grain. Or okay, Grain is not. So for example, after we have a meeting, Graining is doing the summary. Yes, it's not doing the tasks that we need to do after the meeting, but if you ask any person who's been doing any business or any agency work or any service work, you would understand that usually you would probably, if you're using a management software, so we are using ClickUp for that, I would want to install all of the tasks and assign it to the members myself after the meeting, even though it's going to take 5 additional minutes. So this is, no. Let's go to the next one.
And the next use case is building end-to-end workflows in AI agents. All right, so right here I have my Claude code setup. First thing I have here is the Claude.md prompt.
Yeah, okay. So basically this is going to be giving us the JSON file, I would imagine, that we would then import to NADN. Okay. So I don't know. I mean, for the content purposes, cool. For the small invoicing like applications, yes. Again, you need to be very cautious with the ICP who you're going after, because you're going to be competing with the existing tools, with the ERPs that are, and CRMs that are constantly adding this into their suite of tools. But this might be the case. For the content, it's probably for the personal use, and maybe at a very large scale, if you want to ideate on the idea, sure. But other than that, no. Can you build Claude agent teams? Things you can build with Claude agent team. Okay, so let's.
I already prepared all 7 use cases I'm about to show you right here.
Let's go.
And just to accompany them from a conceptual standpoint, each one I'll walk through the high level of what the agent team is planning to do, and then we'll go into the actual prompt, and I'll show you the associated output. Now, this first case is really straightforward. It is a content repurposing engine, and this is something that you might have built with things like.
Okay, so content again. I'm gonna skip the content.
What needs to change? So the second use case might be very helpful, and this is meant to research and create a pitch deck on a particular topic of our choice. So in stage 1, you have the researcher, and the goal of the researcher is to come back with certain data points.
Content again, okay.
To 100%. So this next one will appeal to all the consultants out there. So if you've ever written an RFP or a request for proposal or a tender opportunity for a government contract, you'll know that the tender descriptions are really long, and the amount of work you have to do to actually complete and satisfy them is equally, if not more, very long. So this will take the requirements of these proposals, and then it will go create an agent team where you have an RFP analyst to look at all the different requirements you have to satisfy in your proposal. And then you have the capability researcher, which you could give examples of who works on your team, who has what experience, what case studies do you have for it to draw from to help with the creation.
Now, this is a great use case. I think it's very specific. The only thing that I'm having a problem with is that do you really need the Claude code for that? Or because, like, yes, so there are multiple agents, but I would probably like all of the requirements, all of the team capabilities, the qualification criteria, and everything can be written in a simple prompt, and then you can just go to Claude that will output you the PDF, and you can play around with it. I mean, probably the Claude code would do it better, but again, like, if you just have, like, let's say your company just needs this, like, as a use case, I mean, do you want to go through all the bells and whistles with a Claude code? I don't know. Okay, so let's go to the next one.
Then we have a synthesis lead whose sole job is to take the independent research from each. Then we have a synthesis lead whose sole job is to take the independent research. Then we have a synthesis lead whose
Jesus
sole job.
Christ.
both proposal sections as well, so you can audit each and every deliverable from each and every agent. So this next use case is a spicy one. We're going to use agent teams to do competitive analysis. Compare Claude Code to 4 other competitors.
Gosh, okay, so another content.
A very comprehensive prompt to help you split up that task in a way where different agents can take different perspectives on it to come up with a cohesive, as in other companies, other platforms, other frameworks, whatever you want. This next one has to be one of my favorite examples, which is the AI advisory board. And the point of this use case is you take a very meaty problem or meaty question or opportunity and you just pose it and you create a very comprehensive prompt to help you split up that task in a way where different agents can take different perspectives on it.
I don't know, so this is basically the AI advisory whatever, like board, but it's just like it's gonna be the agent, the suite of agents that are gonna analyze the company details and output, I guess, what type of the AI they can start using. But I don't see why would you use the Claude Code for it. I mean, you can just use an Claude for it, like a simple like LLM, or you can use Gemini for this, or you can use, you know, ChatGPT. So I am not sure about that. One very important, you know, clarification. You may already felt this at some point of your exploration journey when you're, you know, exploring all these AI tools. It seems that a lot of the use cases that people are presenting are basically, it's like content creators pitch to other content creators on how to use AI for content creation. Like, so it's like info businesses selling to info businesses. It's like coaches for coaches for coach. Like, you know, like it's a loop. So this is why there's nothing wrong with it. Okay, there's nothing wrong with it. What I am trying to go a bit kind of deeper, trying to see, okay, what are some other things that can be, like the Claude Code and the agent teams can be used for, okay? So this is, yeah.
You'll need an email marketer to come up with the... So let's assume you...
My gosh.
What it would look like from a financial standpoint, all the permutations of it.
I don't know,
This
like
runs
you
for a
can
while, and this really helps you if you have a very
generate
problem you want to go through, and you might not have the colleagues of your own to be able to push back on you. This is a great way to get an initial lens from different virgin eyes of different agents. And for our penultimate example, we'll take on a marketing use case. So let's assume you have a full campaign launch, and you are looking to market your new Focus Pods Pro.
We do.
Original name.
So we do campaign launches for products, but we're doing the webinars as the sales funnel, and we drive traffic through the cold email, the organic, if they have the presence, as well as the paid ads.
You need an email marketer to come up with the 3 email sequence for the
Yes.
launch. You'll need the social media manager.
Yes.
You'll need the ad copywriter, and you'll need the landing page creator.
Gosh, okay, so it's another content creation. We are using just, you know, we're using Claude 4.6 Sonnet. We're having a project specifically assigned to each client. And we're using Gemini 3 for more of the messages that are sent specifically through text and WhatsApp that are, you know, designed for the peer-to-peer communication and not for the education purposes that are sent through the email, nor that are used in the landing page. So, I mean, again, content.
This earlier in the week.
What's that?
I'm going to show you how you can create the 80/20 version of your own version of OpenClaw that fits exactly what you're looking for.
Yeah, so like how now you like build an agent that is gonna build you other agents that will build agents for the content for other people to create content about the Claude that will create content. Like, so it's like it's a funny loop. Okay, nothing like too crazy, which is cool. Again, I believe that you guys need to use Claude if you're trying to ideate, validate an idea. If you want to build some sort of a pipeline tool that will like do a little things you don't want to touch N8N. But if you already know N8N, and if you're looking to build something long-term production for your company or to sell, wouldn't use it, guys. Wouldn't use it. So let's check out what Brock has to say.
I'm going to show you the exact content system I'm using right now to generate $70,000 per month, and I'm doing
crazy.
This with no team, just using Claude.
Okay, content again, but okay.
I built the system. All right, guys. So I have this huge diagram here that I actually generated using Claude Code, of course. And let me break this down. This is essentially my system I'm using right now to make $70,000 per month through my content business. And I'm going to show you each of these right now. So first of all, we have our discovery engine. This is what finds what's trending for us. So you can see right here, it finds what's trending before anyone else. We have these different slash commands. So essentially inside of Claude Code, I just type in morning. And what it will do is it will give me a daily AI briefing with the top 3 script opportunities. In this tweet scrapers, YouTube scrapers.
That's cool.
And automatically check and say, hey, is this good?
So like I didn't know that you can pre-build the slash commands.
here. Let's say that we don't want to have to look at this inside of Cursor. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come to Claude Code and just say, hey, this is amazing. Could you go ahead and turn this into an HTML dashboard in a Swiss Apple style design for me to be basically just automatically open up this HTML file that I could actually take a look at?
I don't know, content again. Let's find automate everything. How to run your entire business. Nick.
If you're a business owner still manually doing tasks the machine could be handling in quite literally seconds, you're not just wasting time. You are actively losing to competitors who had figured this out months ago. So this video, it's going to be about Claude Code.
No, by the way,
it's not what you think.
By the way, you don't need to worry about, like, no one is using Claude Code and no one of your competitors is using any automations. Like, you can trust me on that.
Now, most people, they hear Claude Code and they immediately cover the three fundamentals. It is simply an AI agent that operates inside of your local file system.
Okay, so there are other use cases creating Claude Code MD, build the first skill, connecting to Fireflies. Okay. Connecting to Fireflies, by the way.
Now, we want to add onto this as well, and we want it to be able to, every single time that I have a meeting, or I want it to be able to pull from our meeting note taker and take that information.
Yeah, but again, like meeting note takers, come on, guys. Like these like Fireflies, they are having their own interfaces with all the notes and tasks that you can, like, it's doing it. Like, why would you rebuild it? Okay, Claude use cases. Let's search for something else. How I use AI map design business systems. Let's check it out.
What if I told you in just minutes, Claude created these mind maps and process diagrams for me? For the past few months, I've been working in building AI skills in Claude and Claude Code, and the thing that surprises me the most is that Claude can actually think visually and not just write things for you. And this is a complete game.
Am I the only person who is right now? Am I the only person who's right now like building all these diagrams myself? Because people are using, by the way, Myra has AI site stickers or whatever, like they're having the AI to rebuild it. But because I am, usually pitching this to the businesses, to our clients, or creating the videos for you guys, I like to have a full understanding of what I am, talking about. So this is why I usually I did just different points in the diagram, but I'm not asking AI to create it. But honestly speaking, before that, it wasn't very good. So, I mean, maybe I could use the Claude Code for that if it's really good. Okay.
Tokens, or the way that this is structured, the process structured is that click on open.
So it's.
If you want to build a business that runs without you, not by a few minutes later, it generates a draw.io file. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go
so it's generating the file draw.io.
As you can see, it created a swim lane diagram and it looks pretty good. So
it looks trash. Okay, looks trash. Let's come on.
But as you can see, we can see a clear swim lane. So customer, owner, operations, admin. And we could see over here that the owner takes...
I mean, not trash. Like, it looks okay-ish. It looks okay-ish. But I would spend more time trying to figure it out and before pitching it to the through the YouTube video rather than probably building it myself. Again, sorry, like, I sound like I'm a hater, but I'm not. I think that this is very cool because the, like, Myra internal or Excalibur internal AI tools are not that great. So this is cool. But again, this is a plan. Where are the real use cases? Setup, security, real jobs, Python, Claude Cowork use cases. Okay.
Claude Cowork just dropped.
Jack,
It is a
let's
superpower,
go.
but only if you know how to use it correctly. It can even do things that weren't possible before.
Setup is and the lighting neat.
Tasks and learning skills, saving you hours. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to unlock its full capabilities using skills that I've not seen anybody else talking about, so you can actually save more time with something like this. Which is why skill number one is file management. And so the best thing to show you initially is to show you how it works on your laptop, right? So for example, if you check out my desktop, it is a little bit on the busy side. So what we're going to do now is actually get Claude to organize some of this for us. And as you can see at the top, we've got chat, Cowork, and code. So let's just say
yeah. So I mean, this is like this is a copilot, which is the Cowork. Okay, so this is probably not something that we want to explore on this video. Let's see if he talks about something
files
different.
on your desktop and talking to your computer is one thing, but we can take this to a completely new level by actually taking Claude Cowork into our browser, which means that we can access services and do automations that you just literally cannot do for a simple API call. Now, to use this feature, you need to install Claude in your Chrome browser. Chrome is the browser that prefers to use. And when that's installed, you'll see this little Claude thing here.
This one is cool.
Click on that. Claude is now almost in the balance of quality and price over here, and we don't need to think about it. And then we check back in, we can't get the results. So let's actually give this an example in this video, and just give me the TLDR.
Yeah, this one, the browser has a lot of different use cases, and I'm probably at some point gonna create an entire video about it because there are use cases, for example, of using it in the LinkedIn, on the WhatsApp, on basically the applications that I usually don't like interact with, like they have the API and you can interact with them through the API, but if you can interact with the browser, you have less likely to get banned or punished. So there are use cases for that, definitely. Let's check the third
So
one.
you've got a few different options. You've got include projects and you've got connectors. So connectors.
Okay, so it's not something that I'm looking for. So he's looking for the cowork. Okay. Holy shit, find sync cowork use cases. No, find sync cowork. Okay, so it's everything is level of Claude Code. Now Cowork, Claude Code on your phone is official. Again, like people went crazy about the Claude Code on the mobile. I'm not gonna review it here. Let's close skills. Okay.
Have you ever noticed that no matter how much context that you give your LLM, the outputs are never truly the same? And in fact, they can tend to get worse the longer that you chat with it. And Anthropic is just up front. Now let's go into Claude and I'll show you exactly where to start.
This is the older video. Okay. Anyways, so I'm having a hard time. By the way, what Nick was presenting as a use case?
All that onto the big message chain, and then it uses that to figure out the next thing. So it uses basically this thinking area, it's almost a scratch pad to figure out more. And then what it does is it collapses it, disappears the example sandbox. That's awesome. I'm just going to pump in some payment information here. Cool. Looks like the payment went through. And then we also have this wonderful payment received button. You can close this window. That's awesome. Okay, great. So let's just adjust that funnel bit. Excellent.
So he did create.
General, there's a bit of a discord between everything being left aligned and
then created the website.
Example sandbox. That's awesome. I'm just going to pump in some payment information
with probably like the Stripe. Stripe integration, something like that.
People that are out there that are using Claude Code and similar tools to try and find security vulnerabilities as well. And unfortunately, despite how amazing Claude Code is right now, it's not at the point where it like fully 100% patches everything on the front end and the back, using that power willy-nilly. Next, all the additional tokens, something, that's where that.
Anyways, okay, so guys, I hope you found some value in this video. So I hope I was helpful at some point.